This changes everything for the Cavs as an ESPN insider, Brian Windhorst, reveals what the Cavaliers' future could have in store and what they will do to approach this current NBA season and the next several NBA seasons, as the Cavaliers have locked up their core four, potentially core five for the future. It puts a lot of pressure on the current core and how it could be a championship or bust mindset for the Cavaliers. And I'll go into that more and what Brian Windhorst had to say, as well as what Dan Gilbert and Koby Altman are kind of feeling, as well as this article that I saw from Cleveland Cavaliers, SportsIllustrated.com, and the writer Jared Koch. I'm Matt Blangy here at Cavs Digest. Thank you guys so much for joining me as the Summer League soon wraps up here, and I'm going to cover even more players from the Summer League that stood out to me, either bad or good. You guys should go hit the subscribe button. That's a big reason too, because you can learn about guys from the Summer League that you might not be closely following. You can also learn about things like this, like ESPN guys talking about specific approaches for the Cavaliers, and even more going off of that. So there's a lot that we cover here at Cavs Digest, especially when the season comes and, when injuries happen and trades, rumors, and all of this stuff. I know there's been a lot of LeBron talk, but it's time to focus on the Cavs. Here's another storyline for you guys. I know Darius has been killing it. He's been joining me on this channel, and he has been posting some great videos, so that's why you should subscribe, because you can get great storylines as well. So let's talk about what's happening. Let's get to the big thing. So ESPN's Brian Windhorst went on and talked about what the Cavs' approach is going to be after extending Koby Altman. It seems as if Dan Gilbert has a lot of trust in Koby, and that is something that Windhorst and Jared Koch mentioned in what they had to say. So now that Koby Altman is extended, you have to have this realistic approach to what the Cavaliers are going to be doing in the next couple of years, and that is what we're going to talk about with what Brian Windhorst had to say. If you're a second apron team, which the Cavs entered into with their eyes wide open, and not just with Evan Mobley and Donovan Mitchell's contracts, but also trading for DeAndre Hunter, they knew that was going to take them deeper into the apron. Whether you say the words championship or bust or not, that's what's happening. So essentially, when we're saying that this team is championship or bust, no matter what, they're going to go for it. And look, if they don't win it in a couple of years and they're in the second apron in a couple of years, they'll have to retrofit. They'll have to move around. What Dan Gilbert is basically saying here is, I believe in Koby Altman as the guy to make the decisions going into that period, which is why they went out and extended Koby Altman, Mike Gansey, and Brandon Weems, but specifically Koby Altman because he's the team president. So boom, he's came out and said what the Cavs' approach is. It's a championship or bust. And in a couple of years, in reality, let's say this team doesn't win a championship, you got to go off of specific guys. Guys like, I realistically said Donovan Mitchell is the core piece for the Cavaliers. We know that he is the face of the Cavs alongside of Evan Mobley. But Darius Garland is the biggest guy in question because he has a big contract. Now I do not believe that this guy is going to go anywhere this year. I know that this core four of Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen, and Darius Garland are going to all remain Cavaliers this season, and we can 100% accept that, right? I know Darius talked about how Jarrett Allen and Darius Garland have had a lot of trade talks and how they need to stop, and he gave his opinion on that. That was a great video. Go check it out. As long as and any other videos you missed with Cavs Digest. But anyways, Darius Garland is the biggest question for the Cavs' future because he's younger. He's several years younger than Donovan Mitchell. But unfortunately, it is a scenario where does he perform well enough in the big moments to where you can continue to keep him for years to come. Now, there's other guys that put you over the apron. Evan Mobley was a big one. So you see the minutes per game at the top there, 30 minutes a game, which is honestly less than I kind of thought. I feel like this guy should be playing more than that, but of course they blew out a lot of teams, so that's a reason why they were able to bench him and keep him as relatively healthy as possible. 18.5 points per game, 9.3 rebounds per game, and the 37% from three that Kenny Atkinson developed on him is really impressive. The reason I wanted to show Evan Mobley is because I believe that you can start speaking about the fact that Evan Mobley should be your core guy for as long as possible, other than Donovan Mitchell. I know Donovan Mitchell is the takeover guy. He's one of the best rim slashers in the whole league. He's someone that is so willing to attack and finish at a very, very elite level in the playoffs and the regular season. But Evan Mobley is the Defensive Player of the Year winner. Defense wins championships when paired with a good offense is what I would say, because it's not just defense wins championships. But Evan Mobley being arguably the best help defender in the whole entire NBA. I wish his low post was better, but he's a phenomenal shot blocker, and I totally see the fact that this guy deserved his Defensive Player of the Year. And I think that the Cavs should really focus on Evan Mobley being the core piece for the future alongside DeAndre Hunter. Because I do not, I'll talk about Donovan Mitchell here in a second, but DeAndre Hunter needs to be in the starting lineup. I see a better approach to where benching Max Strus and letting Strus be a six-man is so good for the Cavs. I understand if it ain't broke, don't fix it. DeAndre Hunter came off the bench, played well, but this is a guy that is proven to be one of the best two-way forwards in all of basketball. And DeAndre Hunter should be in that spot. 40% from three, 47% from the field. A great defender alongside 17 points per game off the bench. This guy should be in the starting lineup. So that is the two biggest pieces that I think the Cavaliers should focus the most on keeping as their future continues. Because as Windhorst said, you are championship or bust. But I do believe that these two players should be your biggest core focuses for the future. I didn't put Jarrett Allen in here, but I do think that Koby Altman, who he did say that Jarrett Allen's toughness, you have to play 82 games requires a lot of toughness. Well, I don't think Koby Altman quite knows what toughness is, and I'll just be honest and say that because just because you play 82 games does not make you physically tough. It might make you physically durable. Durable is not the same thing as toughness. And y'all say I don't know ball, right? No, I'm just trolling. But yeah, the reason I didn't mention Donovan Mitchell in the biggest guys you should focus on for your future is because he's getting older, and consistently he's proven that he's not able to win playoff games. I know it's a sad truth, but over a long period of good seasons with the Jazz, 1 seeds, 2 seeds, 3 seeds, trying to get to a Western Conference Finals, trying to make a Finals. Yes, everyone called those Jazz teams frauds, and I understand. But when you think about this Cavs team, they should have been in a better spot than they were. And Donovan Mitchell, who I guess played well, but in reality, I don't think people give Donovan Mitchell enough slack for how poorly he performed against the Pacers. He couldn't hit a three-pointer to save his life. He couldn't. He missed 3 free throws down the stretch in Game 5 where the Cavs got eliminated. Watched it with my own eyes live in person, right? With my own eyes live in person. And I do love Donovan Mitchell. I love what he's done. And statistically, he's one of the best performers in playoff history. But it comes down to winning. And I'm not sure if you should focus on keeping Donovan Mitchell after these 2 years with the core four or after one more year with the core four. I think 2 years you should ride with Mitchell and Mobley. I think maybe 1 year with Jarrett Allen and Garland and Mobley and Allen, if that makes sense. So Garland and Allen might only have 1 year left if you don't win anything. And Mitchell more than anyone should probably have 2 years because I think DeAndre Hunter is that good to be that starting small forward, pair with Evan Mobley at the power forward position, and then you can find a better center. You definitely need a backup center because I feel for Jarrett Allen. I think that the rebounding from him is solid, and I think that they really, really need to find a backup center, and they need to. I think Darius Garland is probably the biggest worry here for the Cavs' future. I think that him and Allen would likely be the first ones gone out the core four. But let's go into the article from Jared Koch with what he had to say surrounding this Windhorst bold statement that he said. This is from Cleveland Cavaliers, SI.com, SportsIllustrated.com. With the Cleveland Cavaliers' latest extension of President Koby Altman to cap off the latest major move of this offseason, the messaging has been simple from the franchise across the past few months. They're confident in this core and ready to make another championship push with their 64-win core from last season. However, with every main component of the Cavaliers' core now locked in and intact for the next few years, it also puts some significant pressure on Cleveland's group moving forward to make this cast pan out and ultimately reach a championship. So that's the biggest thing with the Cavs is that how well can these guys with all this pressure on them perform? Because right now it seems very lackluster if they can perform at the highest level and even make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. At this point, getting the Eastern Conference Finals is the first step. This team is championship or bust. Brian Windhorst said it. This team is championship or bust. I completely agree with him. This team needs to win, and if you do not win a championship within the next 2 years, your core's splitting up. And I think that these two guys, realistically, I don't see these two guys lasting more than 2 years anymore. Donovan Mitchell hasn't made Eastern Conference Finals with the Cavs. This is probably his last full year where, this year and next year, I would say, would be the next 2 full years where you have to prove yourself. And Darius Garland might not get 2 years. He might not even get a full season, guys. He might not because his clutchness really, really surprised me last year. He was great in that area, but I really do believe that Koby Altman has made some good moves. I am skeptical of him, but I think that he is going to go off of some guys in the core. So I think that this changes everything for the Cavs as they re-sign Altman and they have the score four intact. They are now championship or bust, and that is it for the Cavs. And that's it from me here on Cavs Digest. Before you guys go, comment down below your thoughts. I really want to hear you guys. I read every single comment I do, so I really want to see what you guys have to say about how this changes the Cavs, how this approach is going to affect the future, and what can happen if the Cavs, if they don't win a championship, and will they win a championship in the next couple of years? Let me know in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe, share this video with your friends. I'm Matt Plangy, and thank you guys for joining me here on Cavs Digest.